Tonight is our last one, because we reckon we're going to be sailing any minute, if you haven't already had a go. I know some of you have, which is great news. And tonight we're going to keep our bit quite short up front. We sort of went overboard the last couple of weeks, but we had the sort of unique opportunity to get into some deep divey detail while we're doing these Zoom calls. And we're tacking and jibing technique, and then moving on to sort of general Q&A about stuff we've already covered and about what's next for getting out in the water and some ideas we might have about getting ourselves training and towards racing, if that's what we want to do. So, Gareth, without further ado, the floor is yours.
Cool. Do you want to host me on the...
You are a co-host.
Oh, excellent. I'm on the desktop one, right? Brilliant. Cool.
Oh, have I done the right one?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah. That was lucky.
We're looking good.
I shall happily mute so none of you can hear me.
Excellent. All right, so let's look at tacking. So, most important thing I think when it comes to tacking is boat speed. The only time when you're going upwind that you're going to lose boat speed, for the manoeuvre. You're always going to lose some, but we try to minimize as much as possible how much boat speed we're going to lose. So, open to the audience, what can we do to prevent loss of boat speed?
Keep the boat flat.
Keep the boat flat? Yeah, but what about when we're tacking?
Use the heel to steer rather than the rudder.
Yeah, use your body weight to steer the boat. Yeah, so that's good. What other things are there?
Avoid a wave.
Avoid a wave. Yes, that's a good one. I think I forgot one, but yes, avoiding a wave.
Keep your preparation time to a minimum.
Yeah. Got any other calls coming in there? The Slay family. Anything there?
Has somebody said bear away a bit before you?
No, that's a good one.
Well, I'll say that.
Well done. Who else have we got on the? Just trying to see the rest of the list there. Paul, got anything? Paul Champion.
I don't think it's in answer to the exact question, which is how to keep the boat speed. But as somebody who's more at the beginner element of this group, I find when there's always a tendency to over-tack, and then you find that you end up then spend a little bit more time than coming back, readjusting your line once more. So yeah, for myself, it's just that. That not over-tacking essentially is a thing I always make myself try and remember.
Yeah, but coming out of attack, sailing a bit more of reach, a bit lower than close hauled, is good for you to help build that speed that you lost during the attack back up. So you're not doing something wrong. It's just about getting back on the wind as quick as possible to make the VMG work as well as possible. Oh, David Archer's just coming in as well. Okay. Yeah, okay, cool. So pick up speed before you tack. Claire Slay got that one. Steer with your body. Yep, Simon Gaiman was on. Pulling the main sheet in. When you haul the main sheet in, it automatically pushes the boat as it pushes the stern out, it bow into the wind. If you're in a two-man boat, brief back of the jib can help in certain conditions just to get the nose through the wind. It's all about knowing the right time to release your jib as well. You don't want to leave it back for too long. You don't want to leave it backed on the new tack because that'll stop like an air brake. But yeah, getting the jib in on the new tack in the right time. And with that, when you're on your new tack, hauling the two sails in together so that the slot between the jib and the main is consistent, and the jib coming into stopping the airflow down the back of the main, very important. Something I didn't add in this list, but it's more of a two-boat thing. Correcting your course when you come back with your body weight. So if you come out and you want to come out a bit low, just hiking a little bit longer to pull that boat to windward, let it bear off a little bit, and then just ease in and let the boat come up to the wind to where you want it, and then get her flat again. So coming out low low enough to rebuild was Paul's point, that he's been doing excellently by instinct, and yeah, getting yourself back on the wind after, as I said earlier, sheeting on at the right. So yeah, you know, a number of different things there. I think we got most of those. Any questions on those sort of things there? Any queries on any of that? No, we've got silence in the audience. All right, so just going to show you a little video here. So I've got a list down the side there of all we just discussed. This is Merlin Rocket in Salcombe. Beautiful sunny conditions, light wind. This is an upwind leg, and we're in the top 10 of the fleet. So these guys here are all sort of top 20 sailors. They're very good at tacking. Merlin Rocket is a very easy boat to tack. It's very designed for this winter in Salcombe, where you're in a very light winds 1 minute, wind in the different direction the next. So the boat has to be quite maneuverable and quick. We'll have a watch of the video and maybe stop it, and some people can ask some questions. One of the things, just to flash back to what we did previously, see if anyone, for a bonus point, can guess which way the tide is going, which is incredibly important on river sailing. So if you can guess where the tide's going with the video, you get a bonus for that. Spotted the little helpful.
Yeah.
Well done. So think about how that will affect these people while they're tacking as well. Okay, so here we go. I'll just put this on. It's a little bit jumpy. I do apologise. Come on. Okay, so just having a look at the fleet. So you'll see now, as I'm in a friend's rib with the boats, following the boats upwind. There's looks like a Halberg Rassie or something in the way. Therefore, the lure boat is forcing all the other boats back over because of his obstruction. Look at those tacks. You see where they're using their body weight to turn the boat, and as the boat comes out the tack, they're using a bit of a pump to get the boat up. Most of those actually over pumps there. You saw the come over on top of them a bit. That's Chris Birrell. He's the national champion. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to pause that there. I edited this video down because it goes on for quite a while. But let's just. So, any questions on that? So we saw in that video that as people were going through the tacks, their technique, which I thought was pretty good. Come on, 1 minute. Get back to where I told you to go. Back to the beginning. There we go. Right. It won't rewind.
Just while you're thinking about that, any other clues about that tide?
All the boats are pointing that way.
Yeah. What about which way the boats are coming up the beach? If you're looking down the harbour like that, where do you think the strongest current is?
In the middle?
Up the middle, yeah. Certainly coming through that bit past the sailing club.
There's a
I
big
see
lift.
Salcombe somewhere else, but it's a yeah, very much up the middle.
Yeah, there's a big lift on the shore, isn't there?
Yeah, just as it comes off that little bay there's a valley there, and it just flies, bends around.
They're at 20 degrees, those boats.
So I've not raced there, Carl. Is it a small sloping shore on one side than the other, or is one deep?
Yeah, so the town's quite deep on the side, this left-hand side, and the other side's a bit more slopey, or a lot more slopey. So it's still fairly deep, quite quick, and you get right in.
Yeah, because there's a beach there. It usually gives that away, doesn't it?
You still get in close even at low tide.
Fair point up there.
Okay, so this stupid video is not playing ball very well with me at the moment. But when we saw those boats tacking, did you see the point they were using their body weight? So before they went into the tack, they let the boat windward, which obviously brings the bow into the wind.
you just say that again, Gareth, please?
So if you lean in, so the boat heels to windward, then when you do that, the bow moves towards the wind. So it starts to initiate. This seems to be slowly rewinding itself at the
That's
moment.
quite a good shot, that actually. That's working quite well. That's showing
Yeah.
really effectively how just heeling the boat on top of you is bringing the bow around. You've done that. Oh, you.
It's in. I think it's in rewind at the moment. Oh,
Okay. It was working all right.
we might actually. Yeah, look. See, all the boats are going. So the video's in rewind at the moment. For some reason, not quite sure why. But we're looking at their tags in reverse. There are the jibs backed at that point. They're still on the what was the windward side. Here we are. They're coming in reverse through the tack.
It's like watching the 600 Nationals.
It's actually making it thick. It's weird.
I quite like the speed of it. That's quite cool.
Yeah. I wish I knew how to emulate that again, but maybe it'll click forward gear in a sec. Can you see? I mean, I know we all know these are very wide boats. They're 7 foot wide, but you see the amount of whole surface area you see they're pulling their tack there. You see the amount of heel they've pulled in to help the boat run. As they're doing that, they'll be feeling absolutely nothing in their rudder. There'll be no pull whatsoever. They're using all their body weight to go into that tack.
And all the width of these boats as well, they're very tender. So you only need to move your shoulders back to induce the roll. You don't need a massive movement in these.
No. And you can see as well, it's such a light wind that crews on the opposite side to the helm. I think in part of the video, you can also see like the crew hiking to leeward to balance the helm. So the helm on the windward side's got feel on the boat. So coming out of the tack, trying to keep the boat stable when you want to get flat again, very difficult because you've got a seesaw effect in two of you.
Gareth, with the main sheet, if you're tacking, you're going to be close hauled anyway.
Yeah.
And you say pull the main sheet in even more.
Yeah.
So how do you sort of judge that? Or is that just by feel, really?
Very much by feel, just a squeeze, you know. It actually
It's almost as the boat turns up, Paul. So once you've sort of induced the turn, if you then give it an extra squeeze on, it just helps the boat sail into the wind that bit longer. The front will collapse, but the leech will just keep driving just that little bit longer. Then as you come through, you've got to be ready to just ease it slightly so you're not too heeled as you come out. So it's an extra little...
I think I've just managed to get it to rewind. So
well done.
We'll have a quick look here. So you can the guys are steering with their main sheet. If you look very carefully at that boom, just look very carefully at this boat here. Just watch his boom over that crew's head. It's just off centre line at the moment, and I think that's because he's just borne away very slightly. So ease the main sheet and put his shoulders out to make the boat bear away rather than using the rudder, which would slow him down. So if you just watch, you can see that boom is moving very, very slightly, just trying to keep the boat on speed. And then, okay, he's going into the tack here. Hard to see on that one, but there would have been a sheet on. Hard to see on the next one. Let's look at this boat here. Small sheet there. And what it does is it just means that the leech of the sail is working until the very last minute, which is pushing the bow in the direction you want it to go. The other thing about this sort of tack that they're doing is that when you come out of the tack and you're trying to get the boat back up to speed, you want to pull it flat very slowly in a very controlled fashion. Basically, if the boat is on its, is hitting 20 degrees as you come out of a tack, if you've eased a little bit of main point and you pull the boat up, when you're pulling the boat up slowly, you're creating extra wind. So you're getting the same effect as when you pump the boat to get it moving in the first place. The more controlled you can do that, the longer you can drag it out, the better. Now, John Emmett, who's done a bit of coaching at the club, is the other way around. He firmly believes pull the boat up as quickly as possible and use that one short, sharp pump I once did some testing with the laser radials he coached down in Weymouth, and we were arguing over tenths of a second quicker. But for me, I like the feel of the gradual pull back up, and it feels like my boat's progressing for a longer period because I'm increasing that wind passing over the sails, the flow over the sails for a longer time.
I think for me, it depends on sea state and the class you're in.
Yeah.
How the boats prefer. And that, you know, that's something you learn. Sorry, Richard.
Yeah, so with John's snap it back up, unless you get it spot on, you're in danger of infringing in the airs like that, of coming out attack faster than you went in, and then breaking a rule. So with Gareth's method, holding it on for longer, you're less likely to infringe.
I mean, the Merlin definitely loves a slow squeeze like the Scorp as well. But and don't forget as well, you're getting some drive off the foil as well as you do that. That just lovely squeeze of everything. It just, as Gareth says, you're just putting a bit of extra flow over the sails, everything. The Merlin just responds really well to that slow bringing it out like that.
Yeah.
You two, sorry, Gareth, to interrupt. Can I ask, does it make any difference if you're looking at a fully battened sail or one like a laser where the battens are just at the back?
I don't think it does at all, actually. I think, and my preference as a sort of like a basic sort of rule for the evening would be, if you're going out to practice your tack, I'd tack as coming out of the tack as slowly as possible. Get that control, that feel of the pump. Maybe also another little trick I quite like when I'm doing exercises to get people to their tacking. Before we actually do tacking, just pump your boat, just sail along up and heel the boat over, ease the sail a bit, pull it up and feel that effect. Try and get that effect right and get that feel right. So you almost robotically know what that feel is, so that when you put it into practice coming out of tack, you know what you're looking for. You know how to get it right. I've sailed with Claire in my Merlin before, and it's very hard in a two-man boat to get that coordination right, especially on a boat that's 7'2" wide, because you've really got to know what both people are doing to be able to get the boat to pull up gently. You know, what you don't want to have is both people suddenly sit on the side, the boat up so hard that it goes into another tack in the other direction. Also, maybe it's quite hard to see in this video, but if you, I think this will do it. If you watch these guys sailing, I think at the point where they are just turning their bow into the wind, the very last moment before they actually cross to the new side, I think you'll see them sort of pump the boat into the tack as well. Because there's a last minute little bit where a bit of kinetic energy, a bit of shoulder movement. Maybe it's just, yeah, I think sort of see the way the boat tips just a little bit harder just before the helm comes up across the boat. And trust me, with little legs like mine, that's a hell of a run to get a 7-foot boat. Dave Ellis can't manage it, can he, Carl? He said it's just...
That's why I bought a Scorpion. We'd have had a Merlin otherwise, like everyone else.
It's half the width.
We couldn't get him across the boat.
But it's good to see the club's got a good fleet of Scorps and Merlin. We've got...
Going back to Claire's question on the full... Oh, go on, Rich.
I said at least he'd be a long way away, Carl, when he was angry. You wouldn't be able to hear him from over there.
That's it, yeah. Going back to Claire's point of full battens, it does matter, actually. I think that's a really good point, because in the Merlin, you've got that top batten, and light winds, it doesn't pop terribly well. So how you actually sit down as the helm can affect how you pop the batten.
I think next time we have a lockdown, we'll do a 5-week series on the top batten, how to get it across.
Yeah, batten tension.
I remember
Tension
quickly on.
I remember when I first got my current boat and I was sailing with Rob Henderson crewing for me, and I just put a new top batten in because the old one was broken. We must have spent 4 or 5 races trying to get the exact tension right, so it popped correctly. I reckon, yeah, you could write a good book and sell a good book for it on batten tension. So that, but yeah, Carl, good. You know, with a fully battened sail, you do need a bit more of a pop. So in the solo, in the International 14, you probably just, I mean, with the top batten, as you're coming out the tack, I usually use my sort of bum weight. When I finally put my bum on the gunnel, I give it just a little bit more just to make sure that batten's flicked through, because if it hasn't crossed, you're just not going to move anywhere because the sail's losing about half its efficiency. Okay, let's have a look at tacking in heavy wind. So, open to the floor. How does heavy wind differ to the techniques we were using in light wind in those videos? Let's have Mr. Weston. Got any thoughts on heavy wind tacking as opposed to light wind?
Oh, heavy wind, I guess you need to get round quicker, don't you, to get your sail back up again. Obviously,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so because of the strength of the wind, you know, your where you put your body weight and when is sensitive in a very to light wind. Yeah, no, that's a good point. This is Havers. George, you got any thoughts on the difference between heavy and light wind?
Staying upright, because if you capsize, that's definitely going to ruin that bit of your race.
Yeah, capsizing is definitely a slow side of it. Yeah, so exactly that. In heavier winds, we've got to think about the fact that we are more likely to tip the boat in, and definitely not fast. Boats go very slow when they're not up, as we learned in the first week. So yeah, if they're sort of 90 degrees off, right, they're definitely very slow. So yeah, our sensitivity of body movement got to be a very considered going in heavy wind tack. We want to make sure that we can get the tack and get our weight in the right place to hold the boat up against the forces that are working with us. Simon Gabin, you've been out with me videoing you and many heavy wind tacks all the way up to key and back. So yeah, any tips you have on heavy wind tacking rather than light?
Stay upright. It's much
Yeah.
quicker. I would say actually, I think that is a key part of it. I think probably there's less heel because you just need to be fast. You need to be fast across the boat to counterbalance the wind when it hits you after you've gone through the tack. And also, I think keeping your fore-aft trim a bit better balanced than you would to probably I'd be further forward in lighter wind, but maybe more sort of neutral in a heavier wind, depending how heavy it is.
Yeah, definitely. In hiking boats, definitely crossing the boat to make sure that your aft foot goes across first. So I think very apparent in lasers, arrows, you know, small single-handed, that making sure that your aft foot goes across, same in the solo, so that you know you've got a sure foot under the toe strap on the new side. Quite a good tip. We've got a few big boat sailors as well, haven't we? Because we've got Annie and we've got Kate here. So Kate, you know, when you're talking really big cruising boats, what difference do you do in heavy wind to light wind?
I think again it's speed of bringing over, get the timing has got to be spot on when your jib moves and your main moves. And people need to be properly coordinated. Your timing's got to be great. What else would be different? And not over correcting either. So when you've done your tack, you're coming back on course quickly. Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to get pushed over further, and you're going to be more off course than you were previously. Yeah, that's a good one. One of the things that I think is quite apparent in really big boats, but works very well in dinghies as well. When the wind gets heavier, make it bear off a little bit before you tack. Pick up boat speed, increase flow over the foils, so you know everything's working, and that gives you a little bit more power going into the tack as well, which I think would work with most boats. Definitely keel boats, definitely wayfarers, Annie.
and heavy and slow boats like. What about you, Rich? You got any tips for wiring into attack from the 700 and 14?
So it's obviously you're trying to fight all the forces of nature. So you want to try to cling on to every bit of boat speed you've got. Light boats with big sail areas just want to stop, and they also want to go into irons. So think about your board settings. A little less board will let the bow blow off, and as someone spoke about before, moving aft to lift the bow out and let it blow off a bit as well. Rolls to leeward on the way in and windward on the way out.
Yeah.
And keep that flow over the foil.
Yeah. Keep it
Can I ask Richard? I have trouble in heavy winds with the skiff getting stuck head to wind. And I was looking at the K16 training video this morning, and they're going through the tack with the main cleated and then uncleating it as you go under the boom. It keeps your speed up, but it's precarious. Is that the recommended way of doing it?
So the skiff again is fully batten main, so you've got lots of shape in there, and it'll hold it even when you take that main sheet off. So that's also you've got a running bridle across there, so you're never quite on the midline anyway, so you can hold that a little bit longer. If you're finding it precarious, just as G just said, just come down a couple of degrees and ease a bit, and then just make sure it's uncleated and walk it with you. What I found when I had the skiff, it did like to stick in head to wind, and you kind of almost over rotate out to start with onto almost like a close fetch, and then as you get more practice, that angle will get shorter. But as you come out a bit broader to start with and ease appropriately, you'll get flow over quite modest foils, so quite a small foil on that boat. And the flow delaminates often very quickly, and then it'll spin back up head to wind. So don't be trying and come out too tight like a laser tack, very, very tight head to wind. Foot off a little, keep the flow, and then as you get more practice, that angle will just reduce naturally as you get used to it.
Okay. I was thinking with the contender, I actually do tack that cleated until I'm under, just to keep the boat speed up. I find if I go through and ease the main, the whole thing just stops almost instantly, and very similar with the skiff.
Yeah, it will do that. And also, if you dump all the main in the contender, it's a very long, very low boom, so you risk heeling a bit as you go in and striking the end of the boom on the water, and that stops the boat as well.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, contenders and single-handed skiff, definitely the boats you probably want to tack with a little bit less roll than you do a very curved boat, barrel-shaped boat like a Merlin. Let's have a look at some heavy winds. So some of the things we thought about there, we're talking about when you're in heavier wind. So, you got more power, more wind, more boat speed, larger waves. Your body weight's going to have less effect to counteract, like Simon Gayman was saying, getting across quick enough that you can counteract the force of the new tack. And remember, like Richard and Mike were discussing there, when you're coming out, it's easy to rebuild your boat. All you need to do is sail 5 degrees lower, 10 degrees lower, get that boat speed back up. And when you're under control, you can bring the boat back on the wind, look at your telltales, get yourself back up to where you want to go. I've a bit of video footage here of Richard Russell sailing almost robotically upwind in about 20 to 25 knots on a lovely Saturday afternoon set with wonderful Sylvia Brigford. And I think they just show superb technique coming through tacks and coming out, maintaining their boat speed all the way through the tack. So just have a quick look through this. There we go. And into the tack, a little bit of heel, coming out the tack, jib sheeted on, comfortable, hiking. And look at that. I mean, there's no rudder movement coming out of that tack.
It was rolled to windward, wasn't it?
It was rolled really nicely, yeah.
Yeah.
And look at the boat. I mean, it's like they're frozen, like nobody moves. The tiller is literally, you can just see, if you look really carefully, a little bit of easing on the main sheet just to keep the boat flat and just to help steer the boat. You can see it if you look at my computer. I've got quite a large screen. When Richard is coming out and afterwards, when he wants to bear off a bit, there's a little inch ease on the main sheet and just the slightest movement, and you can see the tiller follow the shoulder movement. He's just pulling it to windward a couple of degrees just to get the boat to steer away. Shall I replay that through again?
Run it through again. Yeah, it was good.
It's quite a good tack.
Have a look at how soft his jib luff goes as well, just as an interesting thing. I'll pick up on that after we've talked through this.
So a lot of windward heel coming out of that tack, get the boat course. Very minimal rudder movement, but main sheet movement to counteract the rudder.
If you roll that back again, Gareth?
Yeah, sure.
Could just pop it through again?
Yeah.
Such a good tack. So they've definitely blown the jib off a bit there and gone bow down slightly to get the pace on. Very difficult at Lymington to pick your wave because you're in the chop all the time. So he's making the best of it. As I say, a bit of windward heel and through.
Yeah, I mean, this is somewhere between and Oxley Lake, I think.
There's plenty of breeze here because if it looks like waves on the water in film, then there's plenty. Like you say. The other thing that I noticed there was when they went into that, the jib luff collapsed massively, which shows there's no real rig tension on it. So it looks like he's holding the jib luff up on the main sheet.
Yeah, yeah,
which is interesting. So that you've got to really pinch it up, and so, especially when they're so light.
Yeah, there's a lot of
technique, isn't there? That's more for the benefit of Paul, really, who's our sailor. It looks like what Richard.
Is that because he's looking for it downwind? He's leaving it slack for that.
I would imagine, although you can move the cars forward on the shrouds, you can fiddle with that.
You can't adjust your rig, I don't think, on the tape.
No, you can. You move the cars forward downwind. But you plug it. Yeah, you can do it.
Okay.
You mean you're adjusting the jib halliard? I think you can. There's a rack. You don't do it on the fly. But it's just interesting to see. I've never noticed that before, and I've been racing against him. I just thought I'd pick that up for Paul's benefit.
Yeah, I mean, I would say he's probably on the settings slightly. That jib should be probably tighter.
I don't know. He obviously likes it the way it is. And he's not slow. So he's got to pluck up the courage and go and ask him. He'd tell you if you ask the right question.
Yeah. I think when I showed him this video, when I took it, which was a couple of years ago, his main comment was that if you look very carefully there, one of the hanks has come undone on the jib.
Oh, is that what I'm looking at?
No, you're completely right. There is sag as well. But yeah, a hank has come undone. Oh, Joe's joining us. Here we go.
Yeah, just let her in. Yep.
So yeah, there is a bit of forestay sag as well.
Sylvia's letting that off quite a long way there to when we talk about game. But so when we go bow down in a double hander, whether we're going to tack or not tack, cracking the jib as a crew is fairly essential, just a little, so it doesn't stall.
Yeah.
You've got to remember in a taser, the crew's got more to do than the helmsman in the tack.
They have with the old bar, mini bar thing. Yeah.
It's a big job, the crew. Forget the helmsman.
That's right. Oh, they're a piece of cake to helm, aren't they? There's nothing on them. It's so light. They're lovely.
It's very difficult to get the handle and the jib done, I found.
Good. It's like a two-man aero, I think. I mean, it's such a boat that's so far ahead of its time. If you think that was designed at the same time as a laser, the laser looks tired, whereas this still looks like something that, a Julian Bethwaite design that's still, still motors. We can't touch it in our scorp upwind.
Upwind, they're rapid.
Oh, aren't they? Yeah, in a high, and they're mowed really well as well. Like high or low mode, whatever you want. Just well ahead of its time.
Yeah. No, it's a great boat. You can buy a really old hull as well. Put a new set of sails in it. I think the old hulls are actually stiffer and lighter than the ones. Great yacht. I'm sure you'll really enjoy it, Paul. We're going to get you up to speed so you can get right on Richard's coattails.
Let's get you some sails that look like that.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm bringing my boat to slipway before it's got the cover on.
Have you not been working on it over lockdown?
I'm spending every Wednesday listening to you guys.
Oh, that's all right. We're in the dark though.
All right. So yeah, there we go. So that's pretty much tacking in a nutshell. Do we have any questions on the sort of things we've been discussing there?
I just said the technique and all the stuff that goes through it. I think I know inside out because I've been teaching to kids and Angry Monkey and all the other things that go along with it. I want to naturally.
Whoa! Stop! What is Angry Monkey?
Angry Monkey is where we kind of get the kids to slow down and across the boat to get the balance. So you do an Angry Monkey pose, which is kind of so it just stops them to think. Give me an angry monkey.
Pose.
Yeah, and it works, and it kind of slows them down across the boat.
I've never
they know
heard
that
Tony,
you're angry. Yeah.
Tony, can you demonstrate that, please?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Demonstrate.
Where do I enroll Declan?
Here we go.
Across. The beams come across. Ah! And then go to the other side.
What do you do if your helm's like that anyway?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Sorry, your question. Sorry.
Yeah. So my question: I don't naturally use my body when I'm tacking. I just need to. That's my challenge, just to start moving my body more and less of the rudder.
I think we can help with
why
that.
that's why I'm listening to you to do this. This every Wednesday to do this.
Yeah, I think body movement is a big takeaway from all of this stuff. And we did it with the Dangerous Girls last year, just that initiation into the tack and just rolling your shoulders in and out to feel how the boat goes. Like Gareth says, when you're going upwind, just have a go at it. Just that initiation. It doesn't have to be massively violent, but just the shoulders, especially in the light medium stuff, just the moving your shoulders back, what difference that makes.
Yeah, I think a massive thing for everyone, when you get back out on your boat in the next couple of weeks, you go just sailing upwind, and in the dinghies probably doesn't apply to Kate unless she's got 10 race crew on board. But doing a big hike, just giving it beans for 2 seconds, just sort of jerk the boat, see what happens when you do that. Then try heeling the boat and then pulling her upright again. I mean, again with Annie, probably not so easy in the Wayfair. John's probably not got as much hiking in these days as he used to. But the two of you together using your Angry Monkey and then teamwork to get the boat, just try that little pump. Do that before you practice your tacks, so you've got a feel for what's good and what's bad and what's right and what's wrong. I found Nick Ingram in the folk boat. It was actually quite an easy boat for you to get quite a bit of pump and a lot of roll. I mean, they beautifully, because you've got so much curve and rocker on the hull shape. As you swing the boat round, you can all stay on the leeward side as long as possible. And if you all climb up to the windward side together and really give it some beams, you can actually get quite a decent bit of effort boat.
Yeah, we certainly used to roll tap the Expo, and that doesn't sound like something you would want to do, but that worked really well as well.
Probably got
to kick off that keel. I don't know how.
Maybe finally crack the 3-knot mark in an Expo. It'd be awesome.
Ooh, careful. It all falls apart though. Nobody's ever done it. It'll fall apart.
Excellent. Okay. Any more questions on tacking there? All right.
Is that your 20 minutes up, Gareth?
I think that is my 20 minutes up. Yeah. 20 minutes. Anyhow, quick.
All right. Well, if you tack, you've got to jibe. So let's have a look at this. What I want to make sure is I have got a few videos as well. And if these don't play very well, we'll just knock it on the head and we'll move on. And I'll just leave links up for you. The videos I've got are a little bit progressive. In the initial one's reasonably basic, but I think it drives home some good points. And then they get a little bit more, technique gets a little bit more advanced. There's a progression through it to a point where you're roll jibing nicely and you're jibing well in loads of breeze. Okay. So without further ado, improving your jibing. So that's a nice little picture I've got of a guy that just borrowed an arrow for a day and jumped in on our Saturday training, and he was sailing beautifully in front of me, and I thought, this is a bit of a ringer. And then I got to chat to him afterwards, and he was an Olympic hopeful for 2000 in a completely different boat, but he'd obviously done quite a lot of laser sailing, but I just happened to capture him doing a beautiful roll jibe. So we're going to have a look at his jibe a bit later on. That's why I've got him there. Right. I'm calling this bit jibing tips and tricks to fit in with the video I'm about to show you. So if you've got a pen and paper ready, or make a mental note, I'm going to show you a video, and it's 3 or 4 minutes long. It's a Canadian sailor who walks you through jibing, and you've got quite a few good points. I want you to capture 3 of them, and a bonus point, and this is a bonus point, 2 bonus points. 1 bonus point for the double-handed boat that's sailing, and secondly, if you can give me the name of the current world champion in that class, who is a club member. All right, you didn't think you were getting a quiz. Here it is. Might be too easy. Right, let's have a look at this video.
Hello and welcome. For many sailors, jibing is a scary maneuver, often associated with capsizes, especially in breeze. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the mechanics of a good jibe and let you in on some of the secrets so that you can pull off great jibes without fear in heavy air. Let's start off by understanding what happens when we jibe. We start a jibe from a run, broad reach, or possibly by the lee if we're sailing on a single-hander. We want to bring the sail across the boat so that we can go in the other direction. The wind is pushing on the windward side of the sail only. During the jibe maneuver, we turn down to adjust the angle of the sail to the wind. Eventually, the wind will flow around the back of the sail and push it across the boat. Then we turn to our desired course after the jibe, which may be continuing on a broad reach or coming back down to a run. The best time to jibe is actually when the boat is moving fast, either when you're surfing on a wave or in a gust. The forward motion of the boat creates a pressure on the back of the sail, and so the load is actually lower at this time. If you jibe in a breeze when you lose your speed, the sail will be the most loaded up, as there's a lot of force being applied to reaccelerate the boat. This makes it very difficult to jibe. Whenever you get some extra speed, take the opportunity to throw in a quick jibe if it fits with your plans. Before you jibe, you should check if you have enough vang. If the vang is too loose, the upper part of the sail will be too far out. In the photo here, you can see the upper part of the sail is almost pointing straight downwind. This is quite slow for sailing, since that part of the sail isn't working, but it also means you'll have to turn much farther to jibe. You'll need to turn until the upper part of the sail goes through the wind, which in this case could be almost a 180. The result is that when you finish your turn, you're at a very high angle, and so the boat will be very powered up, heeling more, and likely to capsize. So if you're running the vang a little loose, snug it up before you jibe, and then you can always ease it off when you're done. When you are jibing, the boat must be flat, or ideally heel to windward. This is very important. If the boat is heel to leeward, it will want to head up, but for a jibe, you're trying to turn down. As a result, you'll be fighting with your tiller, loading the boat up, and making it very difficult to execute a jibe. Sailors will often move into the center of the boat too early when jibing because they are uncomfortable with the maneuver. Practice heeling to windward on your jibes in light air so that you can have the confidence to do it in a breeze. The other nice thing about heeling to windward is that gravity will help the boom across the boat, making your jibe a little bit easier. To reduce the distance that you need to turn on a jibe, I like to slowly sheet in as I turn. This will bring the sail closer to the point where it will jibe on its own and reduce the amount you need to turn. Reducing the distance you turn is important to avoid being too powered up after the jibe. As you turn, keep your eyes on the luff of the sail. You'll see it get soft when the sail is about to jibe, and then give one big pull on the sheet and move across the boat at the same time. The final pull is important for 2 reasons. First, it puts you in control of the jibe. You bring the sail across, and so you know the timing. This is easier than waiting for the wind to catch the sail and move it independently. Secondly, it keeps the sheet taut as the sail moves across the boat and prevents the sheet from getting caught on the transom. Make sure you ease all of the sheet that you pulled in as soon as the sail comes back across. Now, let's go over the steps for a good jibe. First, remove your aft foot from the hiking strap. This will make it easier to get across the boat. Next, lean out and heel the boat to windward. Gently pull the tiller towards you and sheet in slowly at the same time. Watch the luff of the sail. When it is about ready to come across, give a hard, long pull on the sheet and move across the boat immediately. If you are in a 2-handed boat, coordinate movements with your partner. Changing the heeling angle of the boat is very slow, so try to move at the same time and keep a consistent heeling angle and avoid heeling one way and then back the other way. I hope these tips have been helpful for your jibes. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe to Sailing Explained.
There we go. So, did that come across all right?
Yes.
Yes.
You could read it, see it all right. So, what did we notice? If I come out of, oh, hang on, I've gone too far. Hold on a moment. I can make notes here if I'm clever. Somebody like to give me some points they took from that?
Jibe on a gust.
Yes.
Jibe on a gust because?
The loads are less.
Jibe on a gust. Reduce. Boats going faster. Reduces load on sail. Yep. Okay. Good. Anything else?
Sheet in a little.
Sheet in.
Sheet in a little. Yeah.
Oh.
What does that do?
Helps with the control of the jibe.
Okay. To help control. So it's actually to initiate, isn't it? So you're helping control by initiating it when you're ready.
Yeah.
Keep the boat flat or heel to windward.
Brilliant.
Helps it to turn away.
Yep. So windward heel.
And what we he was mentioning some stuff about his vang.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
oh,
not too much fang. It's
More bang, he said, didn't he?
More bang. Yeah, kicking.
well, he was talking about heavy air, and he was talking about that leach profile on his sail. And what he was saying was, so we'll call it the kicker. Put in brackets, vang. What he was saying is, if the kicker's too far off in a bit of breeze and that leach is too open, you've got to come through the jibe a long way before the boom will come across, because it takes a long time for the air to get behind the top of that sail. And when you do come through it, you're on a beam reach or you're round. You ever done one of those where it takes forever to jibe? When you come out of it, you're on a beam reach and you're loaded up and heeled. What he's talking about there is just having that kicker on a bit. If you have it on too much, that's not going to help either, especially in a laser. You're going to probably dip the boom. But it's just to make sure that the sail profile down the leach is okay. All right, so just to close the top of the leach in a bit of breeze. Like you said in that clip, it's not a good idea to have your leach that far off in any breeze anyway, with it pointing forwards like that. You're just spilling wind out the top and losing power. It's okay to have it a bit. There's times in a laser by the lee or an aero where it's okay to let it all hang out, but not too much. Close the top of the leach in a bit for the jibe.
And then, sorry, while you're still typing, watch the sail so that you know when it's going to start moving, when the wind's gone behind it. And he said the luff, but I've always looked at the leach on my laser, so maybe I'm not looking for the right thing.
Which bit's going to go first?
I always thought it was the leach.
Yeah, think about that as well. The thing that would worry me about looking up is my head going to be in the wrong place? I wondered when he said that. At least watch the sail, so you know. I mean, you should be able to feel. You should be. To be honest, I'm not sure about watching the sail because I think you can. You're initiating it yourself with your body movement to bear off, and that flick of the mane. You should know that that's going to come, and if it doesn't come, abort. Just reset, because you'll lose boat speed by then. You want the boat going again, especially in a bit of breeze. Dave and I do that a lot in the sculp. If we're not quite ready as we go into it, or we hit a wave, it's like, whoa, 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 reset, 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 get the boat going, and then go again.
Yeah.
I mean, we all think about driving in breeze, don't we? But I mean, there's kind of a mix.
I remember a good one sailing a Wednesday night race with Dan Cotton in my Merlin. Dan's like, you know, the 7 foot tall crew, looked like he was trapezing, sitting next to the shore top. We were going downwind, and it started blowing about 50 at the windward mark. And to get the boat to jibe, I mean, you're just hoping you get a gust, or you know that you can ride something, but there were no. It was just really, really strong. So what we decided to do, tighten up a little bit, get the boat going even faster, and then do a very quick bear away. So you get the same effect as you've got the boat going very fast, then you bear away, so the amount of power in the wind slows down, the current goes forward, you can do a successful jibe, get it on the new tack, and off you go.
Anything else we think that's important? I mean, that's a good point to speed up like that. You get a lot of G-force as you swing into it, but
kind of moving to the centre, don't go too soon.
don't move into the middle too soon. No, that's really important, because what happens if you do that?
You lose speed.
You lose speed, yeah.
What else might happen with your body weight in the heel of the boat?
Turn to windward.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll heel the boat to leeward, won't you? And you'll turn the boat away from where you want to go. So that's a classic.
He also said when you're in a double hander, you need to make sure you coordinate it.
Yep, completely. So communication's the key. I was trying to find some video of me and Dave where you could hear what we were saying to each other, because we talk through it all the time. You know, looking to jibe in 3, 2, 1, going through now, you know, coming up, whatever it is, just so we both don't have to look at each other or look at what's going on. We can sort of feel it, and that communication's there as well, so we know. And I've got to say to him, yeah, it's good. The poles have come off okay. We're good to go. Yep, ready, send it. Whatever it is, just a something back, a two-way something. Otherwise, you're always just left wondering. And obviously, the more crew you've got on the boat, even more important. Yep, so communication was good, wasn't it?
Good thing on keel boats, Kate, if you're playing with a spinnaker and doing some jibes and stuff, you know, if you've got your crew out and you want to have a bit of fun, just take the pole off, sail dead down, and use your body weight to balance the boat. You want the spinnaker to fly a little bit more to windward.
Oh wow! Okay.
You know, and steer the boat with the crew weight a little bit, and just do a bunch of jibes. You know, where the main sheet is just being pulled across, back and forth, and just steer the boat with a pole on it, and you know. It's great fun. I'll be happy to come out and do that with you. Really enjoy it.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Very fun.
Cool. Anything else we got from the video? There's a few more things coming in the next couple, but did anyone get another?
Ease the sail after you've completed the job.
Yeah, he did say that. Now, I'm going to add a warning to that. Ease the sail if you're going to bear away back onto a run, but be careful, especially in a single hander. If you ease it too much, you'll bear off. You might bear off too quickly. If you come straight out the jibe, let's think about it. In a bit of breeze, you probably want to jibe from broad reach to broad reach to keep the pace on. If I ease the sail too much too quickly, I might bear off onto run too quickly, and the boat comes on top of me. So I've got to think about when I do ease. Because in my single hander, I'm very definite about not wanting to run. I'm either broad reaching or by the lee. So I'm going to transition through to by the lee, but when I'm ready, when I've picked my wave and when I'm good to go, not by just easing it straight out. Otherwise, that's when the boat comes back on top of you. So ease as necessarily is what I'm going to write there. The other two things which I'm not sure he put in there, but they'll come out in the next videos. And just in case we don't get time to do those, is in a bit of breeze is changing sides really quickly, like we said in the tack. So you're going through almost before the booms come through. So you're almost going to beat the boom across the boat. So as the boom's coming to you, you're going to slide and be on that new deck really nice and quickly. And the other thing is, as you come out the jibe, for me, is the tiller must be absolutely in the middle. So you've used your body weight to help you bear away into it. And you've initiated a little bit of helm, but not too much. And as it jibes, you're straightening up, like we were always taught when we began sailing. But it's really important that you don't move that tiller again until you're settled. And it doesn't matter if your arms are all crossed up or whatever else, none of that matters, as long as that boat's going the direction you want it with a bit of pace. And then you can sort your hands out and then either come up onto more of a reach or bear off as you need to, maybe down by the lee if you're a single-hander, and find your course again. Has anyone got anything to add to that on that list from what we saw? I'll show you another couple of ones just to reinforce those bits, because hopefully these next two will develop what we've just seen and what we've just discussed. Okay, that was really good. That you got most of that. Oh, did anyone get the boat?
Firefly?
No, bigger than a Firefly. Ferry build, same originally.
Was it Nev Herbert?
Nev Herbert's the answer, but what was the boat?
I can't remember the boat.
With Albacore?
Albacore. Who said Albacore?
I did.
Hey.
I missed who I was. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like the J Club sailing dinghies, isn't it?
Yeah.
International champion.
He's international champion. They're big. They're big in Canada. That's why they're, and they've all gone racy with a dangly pole. You might have noticed when you come through. That's why the girl will stood up through the jibe, the crew, because she has to stand up to give the pole a yank. Anyway, moving on. It's just trivia.
Well.
Right, here we go. This is an interesting one. I quite like this one. We need these colours for our various, I think, for our visions. Let's see how this one goes. Let's give some music. Show how the tiller. Right. Music makes it. I think there's more music than sailing. Oh, it's got a bit more. There we go. So what did we notice from that one?
That'd be for more light winds.
Yeah, it was a more lighter wind approach. Yeah, definitely. But a lot of the technique was quite similar in terms of things like being on a broad reach. What else did you notice, Paul?
Well, just when he rolled it, I was just thinking, I don't know if that would be a technique that you'd want to use in heavy winds. But now I'm sat here thinking, well, yeah, I don't know. He just felt like it was more of a light wind technique, really.
Yeah, okay, that's really important, actually, and you've raised a really good point there. Gareth and I discussed this earlier this afternoon, and the technique is fairly similar for tacking and jibing in light and heavy winds, there's a few refinements. It's the speed and extent that we do it to. So you're absolutely right. In a big breeze, would you give it that much roll? No, you're probably swimming, but you do need to give it a bit. You know, in the lighter breeze, remember we're using that roll is helping the big steering, so we're not using the rudder. And remember, in light wind, we're slow. We haven't got as much flow over the rudder, so it's got less effect. So using our body weight to steer the boat's important. That's why we need a big roll. But also, as we pump it back upright, again, it's the same thing. You know, you're getting air across the sail as you bring it upright, and it gives a squirt forwards with the hull shape as it comes up. So that's why you tend to do it to a much more exaggerated extent in lighter winds and heavy winds. But you've still got a degree of shoulders back in the breeze just to help it round. I mean, how many times have you gone into a jibe in a bit of breeze and struggled to actually get it to come through? You know, and part of that is because it could be heeled to leeward slightly. Whereas if you initiate it positively with your weight back and flick the main through, you get it to come through, you know, and straighten up as you go. You're in control of everything then. It's something just to practice, and not be frightened of swimming.
Carl?
Yep.
I thought I saw the bloke trying to catch the boom as it was going through.
No, he was on the falls. I'll just rewind to it. So, you know, when the main, I mean, this, I guess it's slightly different to the sort of boat you saw, but here, if we just watch it, you see where the falls come down here. What he'll be doing is like the arrow as well. He'd just be, and the Merlin, I don't know if you do that in the Merlin, you grab the falls here to help it through. So he's not grabbing the boom, he's just grabbing the rope there. Let's just have a quick look, see if that's. Yeah, he's got hold of the rope in his hand. Can you see it? He's used that.
Yeah. What's he trying to do there? I wouldn't go anywhere.
Say again.
I think it's just flicking the baton. You can see a kind of flick to catch the top button.
Yeah, you did do a flick as well, but certainly in the area we definitely do it because we've got full. It gives you, unless it's absolutely howling and you're going to be back in the bus, it gives you full control of when you go, and it's also when it comes out the other side, it means that you. This is not a muster skiff technique, but in the area it gives you full control, and as it comes out, you can judge as to how much you want to let it out again and when.
Yeah.
The important thing in the area is remembering to have the tail hooked over your thumb, so when you do let go of it, it doesn't just roll out and you're in on your ass. But yeah, that's what he's doing, is initiating that with a thing. You don't want to force it, you're just guiding it through when it's ready to, just helping it through a little bit. I mean, gravity should do most of the work in those conditions, and he'd be okay to flick it as well, but yeah, just using the full. So he's probably a high performance sailor, I think, in one of those boats, you know, if he sells a fireball or something else normally, where you would give it a bit of help.
Okay.
Anything else we got from this one?
Straightening the rudder quickly or keeping.
Yeah. That's really important. I think we sort of mentioned that on before this, but you're absolutely right. Just he's doing quite. I'll turn the sound off so we can talk over it. It's quite light wind, so he's doing quite a sort of reachy to reach jibe. You can sort of see the angle he's going in on, but it's still, so he initiates the turn and then it's rudder straight, isn't it? See if we can pick that up. So he's only just steering now. Stop steering. And he's not steering at all there. And the reason we can tell that is by sort of watching the wake. You'll see that again. So you can see what he's steering because the weight comes off the rudder. And this is important in any boat. So he's steering there just into it. Just that little bit. He's already stopped steering now. You see that? Because he's already initiated the turn. The boat is definitely on its way. So I know a lot of people don't agree with me, but the rudder does not steer the boat.
It's not dissimilar. It's not dissimilar to track driving a car, where if you're going to put in a hard left or a hard right, you momentarily unbalance the car by putting a left in, and then you use the readjustment of the car to then put in your put in your turn.
Yeah, you're making it a bit more unstable in the car, aren't you? You're trying to get rid of a bit of grip, or you're just trying to you flick it off, don't you? It's Hello?
Yeah, just having owned a Vision for a fair few years and sailed in some mighty winds, it's even more important to jibe the heavy polypruck swinging boats in as fast as we can, because their loads are so much higher. They slow down so much faster, so their loads build so much quicker. So even though this is a light wind jibe, you know, the flick of that main is absolutely crucial when jibing those heavy boats.
Oh, I've been signed out. Am I still here?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, something flicked up on my screen. It was a bit weird. Yeah, Jeff, a really good point. I mean, it's the same with the laser, with the small rudder and everything about to catch. I mean, all of these boats, the Visions, Wayfarer especially, God, I've capsized more Wayfarers on jibing than anything else, I think. It just, yeah, really, I mean, how do you find it, Annie? I mean, a bit of breeze trying to jibe the Wayfarer. What's your tips?
On there, get the timing right between you and the crew makes a big difference. Holding on to the falls of the kicker as well to control the boom across.
Okay,
the main
so
across.
the crew, yeah, okay. Are you on a centre main on yours?
No, we're on our shooting.
Transom shooting. So that's quite difficult on a transom shooted boat to give it that flick. That only really works well on a centre shooted boat.
Yeah, and to straighten up as quick as possible, and you only enough tiller just to initiate the turn.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, so it's a big thing to take away. Cool. All right, so should we just finish off? Thanks for that, guys. That's cool. Oh, I don't want to leave the meeting. Are you still all there?
Yeah.
What it's telling me. I don't know what I've pressed. So I'll work in IT so you don't have to. Right. Okay. Oh yeah, this is a nice one. This is Martin. And what I want you to watch here is, again, it's this whole point. All right, it's light wind, but it's the whole point of using your body weight to steer the boat. So what I do is I play it through at normal speed, and then we'll break it down. Watch him stand up through the boat and watch he's not fussed about where his hands are. Here, steer, steer, steer. Stop steering now. Beating the boom over and then squeezes down. So the big thing is that body weight through. See if I can replay that for you. Will it? Oh, hang on. Let's try that one more time. So shoulders out to give it a bit of roll there. Look, through, stands up through the boat, sits down, gets himself going, sorts his hands out afterwards. The only thing for that on me is maybe he could let his main out more in this light stuff. And he worried more about his board. But that was an interesting point, actually. In the light, he's kept his board right down to give himself more kick through the jibe. And that's quite a common technique you do when you roll jibing. Certainly the Merlins, the Scorps, we definitely do that. So board down into the jibe to give it a bit of extra grunt to pull against when you come back up. Okay. So again, that's body weight. So the last one I've got is the legendary Mr. Emmett, coach of coaches. You've got Chinese subtitles for those of you that can speak Mandarin. Let's listen to him through.
Jibing in strong winds is a vital skill. Even though during a race you may jibe very few times, the potential for a large loss or gain is huge. The key is speed across the boat. So the helm is sat on the new windward side before the sail fills. This ensures that the boat exits flat. To initiate the jibe, it's important to rapidly sheet in. This means the boom will come across earlier and it's possible to jibe within one wave length. The focus needs to be forward, making sure that you are surfing down a wave and being careful not to go into the trough at the bottom of the wave. Once you initiate the jibe, you need to be moving as soon as the boom moves across the boat. Here, the boat can be borne away after the jibe is complete.
So on the other YouTube, he tended to move after the boom had gone across his head, whereas here's moving before.
Yeah, this is in quite strong breeze here. So in the light wind stuff, you can just take everything a bit slower. I think which is what we were talking before, wasn't it, about how fast you do stuff. In a load of breeze, and especially in any boat, I think it's great to get somebody over the other side. In a double hander, you can be more judicious about it. Depends whether you've got spinnaker going on and who's got the roles and responsibilities for bringing the boat flat out the jibe. But in a single hander, you'll see the fin sailors, the aero sailors, the laser sailors all doing that technique, a little roll into it. So he's still doing his windward heel, wasn't he? And then as the boom initiates, as he initiates it with a pull on the sheet on the laser, he's already across the boat and sat on the new side and keeping the boat flat out of the jibe. So the boat's not steering at any other angle as it comes out. It's not going to flop on top of him or head up and power up and lean over. So I agree. But as I say, this is, he's in 20 odd knots here. Again, you can't really see because it's a drone, just how windy that is. I mean, you can see it from the spray here. The other big point he made there, well, you tell me, what was the other thing related to speed? Anybody?
Surf down on the waves.
Yeah, surfing down on the waves. So it's a big thing. If it's that, do you remember in that other diagram where he's trying to take the apparent wind, trying to neutralize the load in the sail? Surfing will do that. So if you think you're about to hit a trough, what's going to happen then? Will the trough speed you up or slow you down? It'll slow you down, won't it? And you just get all chicken winged up. So you might as well reset at that point, wait one, and then go again. And again, pretty difficult at Lymington in the short stuff, especially when it's really breezy, and especially if you're in something really quick. Picking that moment is quite tricky. We've heard Richard talking about it before, maybe on one of the Monday night talks, is actually finding a bit of flatter water for some of those more tricky boats. Things like a laser and aero, though, you've just got to pick your moment and go. It's anything else from that? Okay.
Sorry, it looked like he'd got quite a lot of kicker on because his leech is quite tight, and he's in a radial.
Oh, he's a radial sailor, John.
Is he?
Yeah. He's always sailed radials.
He's European and world champion, but never been national champion in radial.
Yeah, Hannah's always beaten him. Yeah, I wouldn't say his kick was that hard. Looking at that shot there, he's okay. It's firm. See how the leech? That's a really good point, Claire. Though, about the leech is still opening slightly, but it's not going forwards.
No, it's not going forwards.
No, it's not super off, or super on, or super off. I don't think. Can we get a shot there? Maybe there you can see. Yeah, that's kind of. It's not super on, is it?
I know. Having worked with him, that to actually get the kicker once he's got the main, rigged on the boat, to actually get the kicker to slide into the little on the boom, you have to pull main sheet on. That's the way he likes it set. So the booms would never be higher than 90 degrees on his boat.
No, that's it.
That's the way he likes.
Yeah,
that's inducing a bit of pre-bend as well. As there's all sorts going on there, isn't there? Yeah. Okay. Good question, there, Claire. It's cool.
Very good.
And he's kind of, what's he, the third of his board up on the laser in that breeze? Yeah, so a bit of board out, half board's quite good. Third half board up. That's the one thing we didn't mention, wasn't it, in a bit of breeze? So you didn't trip over. In the light, we're talking about putting it down whilst we jibe and then bringing it back up to suit the course we're on. In a bit more breeze, we've got the board a bit more up. If it's too far up, you'll skid out the jibe and you'll struggle to steer through it. If it's too far down, you'll trip up over it as you come out of it. So in the aero, what we end up doing in a load of breeze is just kind of leave the board where it is almost all the way around the course. Get a bit lazy. You sort of find a position that suits you upwind and downwind, and you almost don't touch it.
I'd agree.
So this is the summary that I had. I think you guys had way more points earlier, but I think, and it doesn't it look like tacking? Boat speed into the jibe is key. Minimizing the steering with the rudder. We use our weight to induce the bear away. The steering with the rudder is only a serving suggestion. It's a mini input to initiate a moment to turn the boat, assisted massively by our weight. And we exit the jibe with certainly in the breezier stuff, the boat flat and the rudder centered. And the key to everything is your teamwork and communication, which is another 2 hours chat when you're ready. Any questions or observations from that? I think my half hour went to 40 minutes. Crikey, how did I manage that?
Yeah, it goes.
Best made plans. I'm going to stop sharing.
What earlier we
floor.
15 minutes each. And
Sorry, Gareth.
We said we'd do 15 minutes each, didn't we? And then do a Q.
Hopeless.
I just I can't believe I've done the angry monkey on Zoom. That's the only thing that's stuck in my mind.
Well, and the fact it's recorded.
Not ever got.
Yeah, it's got to be on like a Korean pop tune tomorrow, Tony. Don't worry.
Is that okay to play at the AGM?
Absolutely, yeah. Play
That's what we're about, sailing. I mean, it's.
you know me thoughts of AGMs, whatever goes. So that's good.
Well, I think we might get more attendees if we promise the Commodore doing an angry monkey.
Yeah, okay.
We'll get our 50.
Get our 50, yeah, we need 50.
I'll just say thanks very much, Carl and Jeff, because it's been fantastic this few weeks for quite a few of us, and just looking to getting this back on the water now and just carrying on with this. It's been fantastic, so thanks very much.
Yeah, I think we've got 2 days set for Saturday training as well, haven't we, Carl? So I think
yeah.
And I'm up on the 24th of April.
Yeah, on the 10th to 24th, yeah. So I think our plans for that is maybe on the first Saturday, the 10th one is just get ourselves out there and a bit of warm up. Maybe lay a course, maybe start a race if you want. And maybe get into some drills at the end of it, just so you're in the habit. And then by the time you get through to Gareth a couple of weeks later, you're ready for a bit of hard work. And he can put you through the paces properly.
Yeah,
that feels like a loose plan, doesn't it?
Yeah, we'll do some good exercises for boat, and then do a few try and get lots and lots of starts and lots of
the last time I went out with Gareth with some coaching, the only thing I remember him shouting at me was, "Get your fat northern body out of the boat."
How terribly woke.
Yeah. It was definitely anti-English sentiment going on.
Right, he's an emerging nation.
Not a rugby, they're not. Oh no, they are.
Oh God.
I've just found this for Jeff, by the way. Can you hear that?
Go on, I want to see him do the dance. Well, it's the old on the, isn't it?
Thank you very much, Jeff.
Oh, he's gone.
That was the time warp, wasn't it?
Could have been. I know you mean this.
That's okay. Thanks so much, Carl. Thanks, Jeff.
How about a bit of Jeff? You mean Gareth?
Gareth, yeah.
Gareth. Have we got? I mean, we've got time for Q&A. If you want to talk through anything else that we've talked about, or cover any of the stuff, we're free to chat.
Have you got your dreamscape? For good sailing technique, did right at the beginning. Maybe first.
Oh yeah, we should go back and just see what we've missed. Yeah. Goalscape, yeah.
Do you want me to play Islands in the Stream while you're looking for that?
Yeah, that's a great idea. We'll sing along. I like that a lot. As long as this doesn't become like Only Connect. Explain. You don't hear me sing, I swear.
Was that Dolly's hat that Jeff had on?
Yes! Well, I love you all.
You got a purty mouth, boy.
I noticed George has disappeared on mute and video.
Yes. Contact the solicitor again.
He's on speed dial, I swear.
Yes, it's in the diary again.
Oh dear. Right, let's try and move that out of the way. Right, have I shared my screen yet? I probably haven't.
Share away.
Right, let's share away. Let's do this. I'm having a shocker with the old Zoom at the moment.
Like Woody from Toy Story.
Yes.
That's better. Right.
Right.
Share screen.
But skinnier.
All right, don't make it personal. Come on. He's your mate. You just don't be running him over in your new big boat.
We
About
stay
that.
as far away from him as we can in our new big boat.
Right, here we are. Good sailing technique. Right, do you want to talk us through this, Gareth? What have we missed?
Okay, so we did keeping the boat flat, and dinghy's designed to be sail flat, and the ergonomic side of keeping the boat flat. Tiller, main sheet, tiller and main sheet should be near to each other at all times, so you can actually adjust main sheet and tiller. Sail trim, full and trimmed. What do we mean by trim? Flappy sail is not a happy sail. That was very basic. We went into a lot more detail.
Still relevant.
But it is relevant. Rule number one about sail trim: a sail that is just pulled just a little bit beyond when it was flapping is almost perfectly trimmed. So under-sheeting is always better than over-sheeting. You're going to be closer. Anticipating neck. So, we looked into a lot of details there. Tide, gusts on the water, what's coming ahead, weather, planning ahead, looking at the weather the day before you go sailing, or the week before you go sailing, or month before you go sailing, like Carl does.
Shifts.
Do your research, know what's coming at you. Yeah, I think we've covered most of our basics there, Carl.
Okay, let's go. I've got another one to bring up, which is the this is the one I originally. Let's just check this one.
This is good.
This looks like a first draft. That doesn't look like the right one. Why would you go off script like that? That's mad.
You had a script.
I had a script.
Welcome to teaching.
I had a script. This is it. Yeah. No, it's not. That's something else. That's
pretty
one. That was the. So right, we'll move on.
Is that the Ellis model?
Yeah. No, it's this one that came with us. This is called Goalscape, and it's a thing we use for work and for training and coaching. Here's one I did ages ago. Good River Start. Oh, that hasn't worked either. Okay. Wouldn't know how to get that. Right, I'm going to stop sharing before I do more damage.
I think a good little one to finish on, Carl, is let's just go around everyone and just see what your aims are to achieve in the next 6 months. Where do you want to be by August? What do you want to have achieved? Stuart, Carol, you're first on my pictures on the bench. Where do you want to be in the either in the folk boat or in the solo fleet as well? What are your aims?
Probably be Caroline wants to go sailing in the scow. I want to go sailing in solo.
Excellent.
And it'd be lovely to go sailing in the folk boat if Boris lets us. So we'll wait and see what happens.
Excellent. Nick Ingram, where are your ambitions? 6 months.
Well, Stuart, we've happily sailed 2 up last year, and it's different, but it's still enjoyable. My aim is to be a bit further up the folk boat fleet, but if Stuart's sailing his scow, that gives me a good chance, doesn't it?
One less.
Okay, next one I've got up is Wayne Weston.
Yeah, well, I'm quite sort of new to it all, so I just want to stay dry. drier. But I'll be going out again, I guess, with Nigel and that lot when they all start up again. I haven't spoken to him since lockdown, but hopefully, and then come join you guys at some stage, and then you know potentially start racing if possible.
Come as soon as you like. It's not. There's no need to wait.
No,
just come. It's fine. There's no right time.
Yeah, looking forward to chatting to you guys again in the flesh, up overlooking the saltwater baths. So.
Excellent. Okay, next one. I've got the Commodore Tony Evans. In 6 months' time, where do you want to be with your sailing?
82 kilograms. So I need to. I know. Yeah.
Boat.
I need to lose the 6 that I put on. So that's the first thing. Fitness, weight, get back on the water because I've missed it all last year. I've missed it all for the last 8 years, to be honest.
You and me had a very busy year last year, Tony.
It's a Commodore's curse, that is.
Yeah. Back on the water, and I'd love to participate in a race. Just get in a race and see what. Just to annoy people and get in the way, not to win.
Should we say August you'll be doing Wednesdays and Sunday mornings?
Can we just examine the language a minute? Because a lot of people say this, and I hate it. Sorry to bring you up on this. Getting in the way. There's no getting in the way. There's no getting that. People use that quite a bit, and I don't like that at all. It's just you're there, you're part of it. There's no race without the competitors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's move from that mindset.
Yeah, I'll see if Richard's still saying that when I put him up on the,
He will chop that solo in half, and you with it.
Lily's not got a temper on him at all.
Yeah,
Never had it. Never had a temper.
Annie is probably out on the water more than any of us. Annie, what do you want to see in your sailing this month?
I think from the goal point of view, coping better with windy conditions. I'm getting better on that one, putting all the techniques to use. So I actually do better on that one, and hopefully not come last in the slow fleet.
Excellent. There's a going on as well every year between Annie and Claire Slay on who gets the water the most.
There's been no record of it this year.
Yes, so they usually get out around. I think it's between 150 200 days a year or something stupid. It's incredible.
Yeah,
we can check the CCTV.
Yeah, it's all on there. Yeah.
The right honourable Kate Jones.
Oh, I want to be a really good day skipper.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. What are the steps towards that? What are the next steps for that?
So I'm going to go very early on in the season, in the next month or so, if I can manage it, on a day skipper refresher course, just to make sure I've got all the skills, where I think they are, and then I need to get out every weekend.
Perfect. And don't forget, if you do a day skipper refresher, to be roll jibing.
Yeah.
On the keelboat.
That would be exciting.
Give it one.
Hey, so the weight balancing was interesting. You were talking about that was amazing.
Hey, give me a call if you need some crew to get you up there.
I'd love to. Thank you very much. That's fantastic.
No problem. Richard, Lily, do we need to paint this way up on the bottom of your international 14, or do you have a goal for in the next 6 months?
Well, 6 months puts us only 11 months in the world in Flensburg, so we got a fairly steep program.
Yeah,
which we've got dialed in as month by month so far for the first 6.
Cool. So what's the target then?
Top 25%
at the PRW or
at the Worlds.
Worlds. Oh, where are the Worlds? Where are the Worlds?
Where?
Yeah.
They're in Flensburg.
Flensburg. Okay.
Tom's hometown.
What do we know about the venue?
Absolutely not yet.
Tom Ayler grew up. It's his hometown.
Well, there you are. There's a starting point. There's one person not to ask. No.
Yeah. I asked Declan, and he says they make very good pills now. Hey.
Yeah.
Pills? No, I think it said pills.
But it'll stop him out of bed at night. Yeah, so we got quite a lot to do.
Cool.
Excellent. The Slay family, Stuart and Sarah.
Yeah.
Well, what do you want to do, Sarah?
Well,
or am I Sarah?
No, that's all right. So I'm going to be doing more racing, hopefully, weather permitting, and I'd quite like to finish not in the bottom bit of that, you know.
Remember to pull the on upwind.
Yeah, I've got a bit more mass bend when I'm doing it.
And Mike,
I would like to be able to fly the spinnaker on a skiff competently, because that's the point of it.
So would I.
What are the steps,
Or
Mike?
anybody else says it. So
No, we didn't say anything. So, Mike, what are your steps for working towards that? I mean, how are you?
I'm a long way away from it. I'm still at the point where my tacking isn't very good, and as soon as the spinnaker is up, the boat's basically out of control. So I've got a lot to work on. But that's that's why I bought it.
Well, we can work on it.
Well, I was going to say, it strikes me I'd be asking for help.
Yeah.
It's the first thing I'd do if I had a boat like that.
Well, any boat I've tried to sail takes me about 4 years to get a handle on it. So, this one isn't going to be any less.
Well, what about getting fast-tracked a bit?
So you don't.
4 years is a long time.
You don't need to reinvent the wheel, Mike. There's lots of people to ask.
Lots of people. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't learn it very quickly. So if you give me 3 things to learn, I've forgotten the first 2 by the time I'm on the 3rd one. Okay. Yeah, fair point.
And it's reinforcement, isn't it? I think Hugh's point, and for those of you that missed Hugh's talks on Monday, talking about land drills that none of us ever do is a massive thing. And Richard does, as we know. But I think for a boat like that, that's going to be key, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Things strapped down on the lawn, weight down so you're confident to throw your weight about on it and just build it up and have somebody close by watching to straighten you out really quickly.
So muscle memory sort of choreography, because that's, of all the variables you have, that doesn't change. The wing bar and where everything is doesn't change.
Same place, isn't it?
So you can just get that muscle memory in and then go and bring the variables in afterwards.
Okay, thanks. Yep.
Let's get you there. Let's do it.
Oh, yeah.
It won't be me because I haven't got a clue. But we can find somebody who does. He's sat in a straw hat. Carry on, Gareth.
You're on mute.
Oh, it's improved no end. He's still on mute.
He's come off his lap. He's come
Who
off his
hasn't
desktop.
gone yet? Joe, we haven't asked you.
Try and spend more time on the water, and just really to try and improve generally, and actually try not be last in the medium fleet. So that's probably my goal, and to keep the stick pointing the right way up.
Didn't you win a race once?
Did I what? Sorry.
Did you win a race one Wednesday?
That might have been the race when I fell off the front of the bike, and you came past. Don't you remember that?
I think you keep it positive, win more races rather than don't come last. Think positive, dude.
Well, that's right. And the other thing I will say is, I mean, it sounds like ancient history, but when I first turned up at the town, I'd been selling scows and X-boats and was having a degree of success in both. And I'd been at Keyhaven with a shaggy old laser and won a couple of races down there, came to Lymington, did a start off the town, which I'd never sailed really from before. I'd sailed at Lymington, but not sailed with you lot. And I was last by about 5 minutes. And it was like, ooh, that's a steep learning curve. But that was only 5 or 6 years ago. And, things improve quickly. It's all right. You get round and you just work at it. And there's so many people here to help all the time.
But that's the other thing about the town, isn't it? It's like you're there on the start line and there's there's a world champion, an ex-world champion, European champion, a national champion, and yada.
So it's more resource to help you. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
I just see all those people as that they're opportunities. They're not threats. No, if you beat them, how good's that? You've got to measure where you really are.
You don't get playing people worse than you.
Yeah, being in the lower deck bar in the town summer before last, and after racing, Rob Martin looking at the results, and he's, well, I came 10th. I was like, okay, I think I've beaten him by a place, and he's like, yeah, you came 9th, but you know what? If you look ahead of us, you know, and there was a list of people who are exceptionally talented sailors, and like Carl said, they're all there in the bar. And they're
totally
all
approachable, yeah. And you said, you know, selling's a community, and especially where we are, we all, you know, just because it looks a bit cliquey and all the rest of it, it's not. People are chat. Ask anybody a question. And Jeff, we have not come to you yet. We're saving the best to last.
Yeah,
Jeff,
no,
we're all ears.
I have had enough of Zoom this year. I can promise you. If anybody can top the hours on Zoom, put your hand up, and I'll
be you, mate. It will be you. So you need to get a float.
Yeah.
And so
put everyone over the start.
Hang on, listen to him.
What's it you ask? I'm going to be after your backside or front end, may I say. So I'm after training, and blasting the 29er when it's 18 knots and over.
Brilliant. A really good answer. I like that.
And Nick Ingram. It's the last on my screen of members on here.
Oh, sorry, sorry, beg your pardon.
You tried me before.
Yeah, I thought you had as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about you, Gareth? We haven't asked you.
My aims are you go to Salcombe Week in July.
Have you got an entry?
I've got an entry, and to be in the top 40.
Wow.
In 120
cool.
fleet.
Yeah, that's hard.
A hell of that's hard.
So at Salcombe, for those of you who aren't sure, what happens is they race it in the quarter of the fleet. So 120 boats, because you only get 60 on the line, and you run it in flights. So you might get a 30th on the day, but that doubles up and you're suddenly 60th. And it's really hard. It's twice as hard to get the result. It sounds weird, but you know, so even if you won, you're second because you double the results.
You can be leading the race 1 second.
Oh yeah, it's snakes and ladders, isn't it?
You'll be back in back in the fleet.
I went back in there in the aero in October thinking I've cracked this, I've got this, I've been here for the last 5 years, I've got this. Nah. It's better, but nah.
It's a great place to sail, really good. Carl, where do you want to be in August?
Well, we're trying to win the Scorpion Nationals, but having never raced another Scorpion virtually, so it's an ambition. So we'll see how we go. It's been great fun working towards it, that is for sure.
The Nationals are back in Penzance.
We're in Penzance, yeah. We're in Penzance with 100 and something boats. Last year was meant to be our 60th anniversary of the fleet, so that was a big turnout, but it's been postponed here, so it's still 60th somehow.
Really bad to buy a Scorpion. They're very expensive and they'll be worth nothing next year.
So it's worth nothing now. The amount of times we've bumped it.
Oh.
I'm going to leave you all and see.
There, aren't we?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.